Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me for today's masterclass, Reclaim Your Fertility. I'm Namara Wild, and I'm going to spend the next 45 minutes sharing just how you can reclaim your fertility and the 5 steps that you must take to conceive naturally and quickly. And I've so much to share with you. I'm going to dive right in. So first up, who is this masterclass actually for? Well, it's definitely for you if you've been trying to become pregnant for months or years and you haven't yet conceived, if you're experiencing primary infertility or secondary infertility, if you've received an unexplained infertility diagnosis or indeed any infertility diagnosis, you're going to find this information very interesting. If you're concerned about your age, if you've experienced unsuccessful IVF, IUI, or other fertility treatments, this is definitely for you. And this is also for you if you'd like more knowledge as to how to prepare for pregnancy so you conceive successfully next time round. So in the next 45 minutes, I am going to be discussing the underlying reasons why so many women struggle to achieve their baby and family dreams, and the all too common yet not so obvious blocks that prevent and delay conceiving. And I'll also be sharing how the delay to conceiving is often not in the body or even in the reproductive organs, but it's in the mind, and how our subconscious beliefs are directly affecting our fertility. I'll also be talking about the shifts that you must make so that you reclaim your fertility and your pregnancy and baby dreams advance from wishing and hoping to confidently expecting. So, my promise to you today is that I'm going to share with you a step by step plan, and I'm going to share the exact steps that my clients have used over the years, even when it seemed all hope was lost and the odds were pretty much stacked against them. I'll reveal exactly what they did to go from the struggle of trying month after month or year after year to actually conceiving quite quickly and going on to have a healthy pregnancy. And I know that might seem like a crazy, unbelievable pipe dream to you right now, but believe me, I've worked with countless clients who've used these exact steps to become pregnant and have their babies despite fairly dire diagnoses, and they brought their beautiful babies into the world. But first, I want to ask, does this sound like you? Are you now totally fed up because you've done all the tests, but you're still not getting any clear answers? Are you confused because you're doing all the right things, you're doing everything that you've been told to do, but nothing seems to be working? And do you meet your fertile window every month now with fear and anxiety rather than expectation and excitement? And do you continue to try every month, but really you're actually expecting to fail? And are you riddled with anxiety because you've been led to believe you left it too late? Are you afraid that there might be a bigger problem? Because really, after everything you've done, you should have been pregnant by now. And have you tried IVF or IUI or other medical treatments? Yet to date, even those haven't worked. Are you at the point where you're seeing your friends, your colleagues, your neighbors, your extended family? Everybody else seems to be having their babies, and it torments you because you don't know if you're ever going to have your own. And are you secretly terrified that you and your partner could miss out on having your family? Do you feel like no matter what you do now, you may never have your baby? If any of that sounds like you, I do have good news. There is hope because none of those things are the real problem. Yes, they're the symptoms, but the real problem is you haven't made what I now refer to as the shifts. And once you make them, you will positively impact your fertile health, literally within days. You'll view all the past trying as feedback rather than failure and make the necessary proven changes to conceive easily. And you'll reclaim your dream of having your baby and tap back into the joy and the excitement that you first had when you started on your pregnancy journey. You get to look your partner in the eye again and get excited about creating a baby that's half you and half them. Any disappointment, any anxiety will disappear because your mind and your body are now working with you rather than against you. And any frustration that you felt watching other women become pregnant will also disappear because you will now be expecting your own baby. and you'll finally have the chance to conceive, to enjoy a full-term healthy pregnancy, to bring new life into the world, and to experience being a mum. But before I share with you what these 5 shifts are, I want to share who I am and why you should listen to me. So, my name is Namara Wild, and I'm the founder of Reclaim Your Fertility. And today I'm also a hypnotherapist. And I've been specializing in assisting women who've had fertility challenges to reconnect with the power of their bodies and their minds so that they do become pregnant quite easily and quite rapidly. And I facilitate what I believe is the most effective body and mind preparation for pregnancy, combining highly effective methods that have actually worked with my clients over a 2-decade history. And through my unique combination of hypnotherapy, massage, and natural wellness, my clients are often expecting within weeks. Now, what got me on this journey, what really got me on this journey was a story very close to me, that of my sister and her husband when they tried to have their baby many years ago. At the age of 35, they had tried for a year and had no success. And at the end of that year, she was given an unexplained infertility diagnosis. And with that diagnosis, she was recommended to go for IVF. For the next 5 years, they experienced 5 failed IVF treatments. They never conceived. At one point, I came back and I worked with her for a few weeks. And we did everything that I share with my clients today. And the amazing thing was, within 6 weeks of doing the work that I'm going to share with you, she became pregnant at the age of 40 for the first time in her life and went on to have their beautiful baby boy. And after that, I started to obsess. Why is it that someone can go through so many years of failed IVF, trying month after month, year after year, but with using some preparation techniques, they could turn that story around literally in weeks at an age when they were told that they would be pretty much infertile. Alrighty, so I'm now going to share with you how I discovered these 5 shifts. And I really believe these 5 shifts are what you must take in order to reclaim your fertile health. And ultimately, they're proactive, which means it involves you taking action. And when you take action, they're empowering. They empower you, and they're natural and they're proven. So they're just going to help you reclaim your fertile health, but also your overall health. And so when I was working with clients, what I noticed was a profound difference in the clients who became pregnant easily, and that's even after long-term overwhelming struggle, failed IVFs, etc., and those who stayed in the struggle and the frustration for years, some of them very unfortunately even permanently. And I began to question and monitor these differences. And eventually I realized that there was 5 key things that the woman who became pregnant would do that those who remained in the struggle just didn't do. And I started to consciously incorporate these 5 steps into my work to generate consistent outcomes for clients. So today, these shifts, they just swiftly address and they break through most pregnancy blocks or delays imaginable. And they enable my clients to conceive with ease, carry their babies confidently to full term, and have beautiful, beautiful birthing experiences. So the first shift is what I call spring clean your baby's first room. Why? Well, because motherhood represents the quality of the soil and fatherhood represents the quality of the seed. You see, your baby's first room is your womb and your abdomen. And as a culture, we've pretty much forgotten the wisdom of preparing the most inviting, the most sustaining, the most nurturing environment for our babies to conceive and live and grow in. And most doctors and fertility specialists don't show you how to do this because they don't know it either. It's just not part of their training. But so many older cultures employed simple methods of massage, detoxing, cleansing, and healing, just very simple methods that were handed down from generation to generation, mother to daughter, to increase the likelihood of conceiving easily and quickly. And of course, having a healthy pregnancy and a healthy baby. And I believe these practices are now more important. Now they're more important now than ever before because as women today in our culture, we are encountering so many toxins and so many chemicals every single month. In fact, more than our mothers, our grandmothers did in an entire lifetime. And that's through the foods that we're eating, the drinks that we're drinking, even our water, the creams, the cosmetics, the perfumes that we put on our skin. 60 to 80% of those chemicals just go straight through your skin into your body. And then there's all the environmental toxins that we have to deal with. And on top of that, our bodies and minds are more stressed than ever before. So all of this is creating a cocktail that is really playing havoc with our hormones and causing massive infertility challenges. So we need to do some cleansing, detoxing, and massage practices that literally increase blood flow to your womb, that bring fresh oxygen and nutrients to your reproductive system. Practices that bring life force back to your ovaries and your eggs, that really ignite life force. And practices that physically prepare your womb and your abdomen by releasing tension, breaking up scar tissue, loosening ligaments, and what I call making space for your baby. And all of this helps to create, of course, a healthy, plump endometrial environment for your baby to attach to and grow in healthily. These practices also assist with detoxing the colon and the surrounding organs, and also the reproductive system itself. And by doing so, again, we create the optimal environment to conceive easily and to have a full-term healthy pregnancy. So in truth, we tend not to give too much attention to the well-being of our uterus or womb until we're ready to use it. So, to create life and to carry life, we need to spend some time to literally bring your reproductive organs back to life. And if you just look at this diagram here and you look at the womb, you know, it's sitting in the bottom of the pelvic bowl, being totally weighed down by all the other organs in the body. And it's been sitting down here in the dark for years and decades, just waiting to do the job that it's designed to do and it wants to do. But we need to bring this beautiful organ back to life. And how do we do that? Well, again, simple cleansing and re-energizing practices are the most effective way to bring your womb, your baby's first womb, back to life and to provide them optimal environment for your partner's seed to implant and grow. And if you take these necessary steps, again, they're very simple, but you take these steps to spring clean your body and your womb for pregnancy, it has a massive impact on the ease and the rapidity of conceiving and the health of your pregnancy. And I believe this is for everyone, whether you're just at the beginning of your pregnancy journey or whether you've been trying for years, especially if you've had an infertility diagnosis, especially if you've gone through failed IVFs. And again, also if you're older. Because when you don't do this, this is when we struggle for months and years trying to conceive, wasting time and wasting money as well, seeking fertility solutions, when ultimately, having spring cleaned your baby's first room, you could just be having and growing your family. You see, energy flows where attention goes. And when we focus on the problem, when we just focus on the fact that we can't conceive, we get more problems. But when we turn around and we start to act on solutions, we start to get new results. And when we spring clean baby's first room, we get rapid new results. And that's certainly the case with the clients that I've worked with over the years. So Jane is a client that I worked with, and she was 38 and she and her partner had tried for over a year to become pregnant by the time I met her. Now, her doctor, her family, her friends, they had all convinced her that she was too old. She also had an unexplained infertility diagnosis. Now, when a person who's a specialist tells you that you are infertile, how can you do anything else but believe it? And she believed it and she let it in. And what was the result of that? She became even more anxious and more stressed because she couldn't conceive. And this stress was impacting her entire body system, but especially her womb and her abdomen, which when we started working together felt quite cold and hard and lifeless. It was lacking energy. And she was also very dehydrated in that area because stress also causes dehydration in the body. Now, the older we get, I believe there's more to cleanse and release. But it only took a mere 5 weeks of focused spring cleaning, and Jane's abdomen and her womb and this part of her body literally transformed into what I call an inviting, warm, energized, hydrated, fertile garden. And she was able to receive her partner's sperm and go on to have their beautiful, healthy baby girl. And so you can turn around a story of infertility very quickly when you take steps to massage, detox, and cleanse and bring life force back to the reproductive organs. So, spring cleaning the baby's first room is highly important. The next shift is what I call reject the diagnosis. So, if you have a womb, if you have one egg, if you have access to one sperm, I'm going to suggest that you reject the infertility diagnosis, or indeed the ageist voodoo, as I call it, and you start seeing yourself as super fertile. You see, just because a woman has not become pregnant within a certain time frame does not mean that her body is infertile. This is an opinion. It's an assumption because your doctor or fertility specialist cannot find a medical reason that to date you have not become pregnant. It doesn't mean that you're infertile. It's not a truth. It's not a fact. It's not an absolute. It's an opinion. And here's the important part. Rejecting the diagnosis doesn't mean sticking your head in the sand and pretending there's not a problem. Because, yes, there's obviously a fertility challenge. If you and your partner are not conceiving easily, there is a fertility challenge. However, with the right proven preparation approach, you can uncover the root cause of that challenge. You can find out exactly why you're not conceiving, and then you can take steps to positively impact your fertile health. And you also came into this world a fertile being, and you have a right to believe that you still are. You see, most women, most of us have been suppressing our fertility for years, maybe even decades. And we do that for all the right reasons, with birth control and the long-term desire not to be pregnant because it's the wrong time in our life. We're not ready. We're not the right partner. But often that conditioning, that suppressing, needs some assistance to overturn. We need to help the body and the mind release these past repetitive messages because your mind believes everything you tell it, whether it's true, false, real, imagined, right, or wrong. And so when we're suppressing our fertility for years, we need to do some work to actually stop that conditioning and change the story and open the mind up to know that actually now is the time you do want to be pregnant. Now is the time you do want your body to conceive easily and have a baby. So your fertility is, I believe, yours to reclaim. And again, with an effective approach, you can reboot your fertile health in mere weeks. But it's really important that in order to do that, you don't let whatever the diagnosis in, you don't let it define you. Why? Because again, there's so many natural methods that you can use to cultivate overall wellness and boost and promote your fertile health. Again, the spring cleaning work really helps with that. It stimulates and nourishes and heals your womb and paves the way for a healthy pregnancy, positions you to be a healthy new mum, actually, and to grow a healthy child. So again, rejecting the diagnosis doesn't mean pretending there's not a problem. With so many clients I see, there are real concerns about age, about lifestyle stresses, about the fact that they've been trying for quite some time, about unsuccessful fertility treatments, even the health of your reproductive organs. Because we know in truth, many women suffer from endometriosis, fibroids, PCOS, and other conditions affecting the reproductive organs. But it's really important that you know that these conditions do not imply infertility. And many of these conditions can be positively impacted and healed when we take action like spring cleaning baby's first room. So reject the diagnosis. Don't let it in. Because the danger in accepting that diagnosis, the danger in believing I am infertile, is you are literally telling your mind, I'm infertile, and your mind's job is just to believe everything you think and everything you say. So straight away, it becomes a limiting belief. You see, your mind can't contradict what you believe. It can't contradict what you say. It has to believe whatever you tell it. And so what you believe to be true will become true. And what your mind believes, your body believes. But here's the good news. You can turn it around and actually believe that you're super fertile. You see, science has proven over and over and over again that the body can heal itself. It has an innate natural repair system. Otherwise, how else does a broken arm heal itself in a cast? You see, when you create the right conditions for healing, you can reclaim your fertile health. So reject the diagnosis and do everything in your power to reclaim your fertile health. You've got to take a stand for your baby. You've got to take a stand for yourself, and you've got to take a stand for your family. So reject the diagnosis. See it for what it is. It's an opinion. It's an assumption. It's not a truth, a fact, or an absolute. And it's an opinion because your doctor or fertility specialist within their limited paradigm cannot find the reason that you're not conceiving. And that leads me to the case of Clara, who had never been pregnant in her life. And at the age of 35, she experienced a year of not being able to conceive. At the end of that year, she was given an unexplained infertility diagnosis, and she went on to experience 5 failed IVF cycles over as many years. When we came to work together, she was not in a good way emotionally. She was really devastated. You know, when somebody tells you and gives you a diagnosis and they are an expert in their field, how can you still believe you could have a baby? So the work that we had to do straight away was get her to reject the diagnosis and see it for what it was. And the only reason she could do that is because she started taking action on spring cleaning her baby's first room. And I got her to refocus on what she actually wanted, her baby. For 5 years, she was focused on the fact that she couldn't conceive, and that was causing stress and distress and upset. And so we refocused on what she actually wanted. And she started doing the work quite happily, actually, to spring clean her baby's first room. And within 6 weeks, 6 mere weeks, she was pregnant naturally in her early 40s. Now, clearly, she was never infertile and she was never too old. Rejecting the diagnosis is taking a stand for your baby. It's taking a stand for your family, and it's taking a stand for your dream. And it's you believing in your body again and taking new action towards your baby dream, just like Clara did. And yes, she went on to have her their beautiful little baby boy. And is obviously very happy because of that. Alrighty. And the next shift is what I call use the secret medicine. And the secret medicine is a form of hypnotherapy called rapid transformational hypnotherapy. Rapid transformational hypnotherapy, I know you may not have heard of it before, but it's been used for over 30 years to assist women and men, by the way, with fertility challenges. And as you're attending this masterclass, I'm going to assume that your doctor or fertility specialist does not have all the answers for you, especially if you've received an unexplained infertility diagnosis, or indeed if the journey to you having your baby is taking a very long time. But there is a root cause, there is a reason for this delay. And most doctors are only trained to look at the symptoms that your body is expressing. They're not trained to look for the root cause. And they're not trained to see or understand that maybe the block isn't in your body, maybe it's in your mind. Often the answers are not to be found in your body. So through the hypnotherapy, we communicate with your subconscious mind to uncover what the problem is. And the other thing is we can't fix what we don't understand. It's impossible. So using the secret medicine, you first get to understand why you've experienced a delay to having your baby. And then the magical thing is we can transform those subconscious blocks. And the other thing that we can do is if you have a medical issue, we can use the secret medicine to activate your body's own ability to heal itself. And so in my 20 years as a therapist, this is the most powerful way to uncover why someone is not becoming pregnant. And this method is so effective that many of my clients have literally conceived within their next cycle because we remove the block straight away. You see, your mind's job is to keep you alive on planet Earth. And to do that, it has to keep you away from pain. If for some reason your subconscious mind believes that pregnancy or birthing or having a baby will cause you pain, it will prevent you from becoming pregnant. So, what are these subconscious fears or beliefs that are affecting so many? In fact, 1 in 5 that are affecting 1 in 5 women's ability to conceive. Well, there could be the long term avoidance, the long term conditioning of not becoming pregnant. For most of us, we've spent years or decades priming our bodies to avoid pregnancy. Totally understandable. We're too young. We want a career. We're with the wrong person. It's the wrong time. But get this as well, we also medicate and protect to avoid pregnancy. So we're telling our minds over and over and over again, pregnancy is not for me. Pregnancy will cause me pain. Pregnancy will not bring me joy. And that is a conditioning that we do to ourselves. There's also the experience of past pregnancy scares. Now, most of us have either experienced a pregnancy scare or we know someone close to us who has. And we know the distress that that can cause when it's not the right time, we're not with the right person, and we're too young, etc. And then there's also the joy and the jubilation when we're not pregnant. There's celebration when we're not pregnant. And all of this is setting the mind up to believe, we're consciously conditioning our mind to believe pregnancy will cause me pain. And then there's also subconscious fears around giving birth. Is that any surprise when for years and decades, most young women and girls have, seen horrific depictions on TV and film of giving birth? It does not look like a pleasant experience. It's not necessarily the truth, by the way, but it does not look like a pleasant experience. So there are subconscious fears around giving birth. There may also be a subconscious fear related to a past traumatic birth. And that could be you giving birth to a child if you're experiencing secondary infertility. There may have been some trauma around the first child that you had, but it may even go back to your own birth when you actually came onto planet Earth, if there was some trauma around your birth. And then there's also fears around loss. Of course, many people have experienced miscarriage. And if you've experienced a miscarriage, then of course your mind sets up baby to equal pain. And there's a lot of fear around conceiving again because there's fear around another miscarriage. And there's also an interesting thing in our culture where when someone does become pregnant, there's this advice, there's this code where you don't tell anybody for the first 3 months in case you have a miscarriage. So often, as soon as people become pregnant, they go into fear around miscarrying because we're conditioned to believe that that's going to happen and could happen very easily. So there's a lot of subconscious beliefs and fears that are affecting the ability of so many people to conceive. And this is what I'm seeing with my clients all the time. And so with the secret medicine, I have come up with an old way of doing things. And the old way is without the secret medicine. And this is where you get an unexplained infertility diagnosis, or indeed any diagnosis, and you still have no idea what the problem actually is. And this can leave you guessing at the problem and often falsely assuming it's your age, your diet, your health, or some other reason. And it can leave you stabbing in the dark, trying to fix an unidentified problem whilst wasting money and time and being this horrendous trap of monthly grief. And this leads so many people to gambling with IVF or other medically assisted treatments in the hope that it will fix an unknown problem. And the old way is what I call cross your fingers fertility, and maybe you'll become pregnant. But with the secret medicine, there is a new way. With this hypnosis, we get to solve the mystery as to what has been delaying someone conceiving. What's the block? And we get to remove those subconscious blocks and delays completely and very, very quickly. And through this method, we also get the opportunity to reprogram the mind and the body for phenomenal fertility and accelerated healing using very specific tools that target the subconscious and work very, very effectively. And we also get to create a new belief that you can conceive easily and carry your baby healthily to full term. Remember, what the mind believes, the body believes. And all of this dramatically improves your ability to conceive naturally and quickly. As in the case of Lou. And I'll just share with you first the testimonial I got from Lou after she became pregnant. She says, I was feeling very lost when I first made contact. I'd had 4 failed IVF cycles. I was told by numerous doctors that my only chance for a baby would be an egg donor. Getting a diagnosis of premature ovarian insufficiency at 28 was devastating. Of course it was. Before my session, I would say I felt scared, angry, and desperate. I'd always wanted a family, and I was starting to believe it wasn't going to happen for me. I had one session, and I definitely felt a shift. And then over the next month, she listened to the recording at the end of this session, and she noticed she was feeling happier, she was feeling more positive, she was feeling hopeful. And then 6 weeks after her session, she got the news. She got a positive pregnancy test. And so again, she was 28, just 28, when she received premature ovarian insufficiency diagnosis, which is really premature menopause. And from there, she experienced 4 failed IVF cycles. Now, using the secret medicine, this form of hypnotherapy, we uncovered very quickly that she was carrying some pretty intense guilt around 2 terminations that she'd had about a decade earlier. And she also had a belief that she would be punished for those. So, whatever the conditioning in her family or her background was, she had a belief that she would be punished for those terminations. And these limiting ideas, these limiting beliefs were holding her back, but we identified them and then we transformed them to new, powerful beliefs, positive beliefs that this was the right time for her to be pregnant and have a family. She's with the right partner, her beautiful husband, and it's exciting and perfect for her to be pregnant now. Her mind needed to hear all that, and her body needed to relax into that and stop stressing. And that's exactly what happened. And again, within 6 short weeks, she is pregnant. So use the secret medicine. We have this wonderful tool to uncover the root cause and the reason, and then to work with the subconscious mind to so you can conceive easily, quickly, and go on to have a healthy pregnancy. So a quick recap for you, what we've covered today. The first shift is spring clean your baby's first room. Create the right environment for you to conceive and grow and have your baby, and for everything to go super healthily for you and the baby. Reject the diagnosis. You see, your mind can only focus on one thing at a time. If you're focusing on the fact that I can't conceive, I have an infertility diagnosis, how can you ever focus on I'm going to have a family and have a baby? That's why rejecting the diagnosis is so important. Your mind can only focus on the infertility diagnosis, or it can focus on the baby. You get to choose. Use the secret medicine, this rapid transformational hypnotherapy, to identify the cause of the delay or the block and to overturn it very, very quickly. And now we're going to talk about why you must release stress and expect the best. Because stress is actually a contraceptive. It's really important that you understand stress is a contraceptive. The problem with stress and anxiety is we are not designed to conceive when we are in fear. This is a time to literally survive. This is when we go into fight, fight, or flee, and your body produces the hormones of stress. Your heart rate increases, blood is pumped to your limbs so that you can survive a dangerous situation and live another day. When we're stressed, our reproductive organs literally become redundant. Why? Because they're not relevant to our survival, and they end up being depleted, dehydrated, and lacking energy and lacking vitality. They are so irrelevant to our survival. And today we live in constant states of stress and fear. We're stressed about our jobs, we stress about our finances, our homes, our relationships. We're stressed about illness, the state of the planet. And of course, we're stressed right now about viruses. And this stress is compounded when we cannot conceive easily. And it makes the infertility problem much, much worse. And so, what are the things that are causing us to be so stressed when it comes to fertility? Well, if you've been trying to conceive month after month without success, you're stressed, very understandably. And then we also have the medical and the media and the community messages that we're too old or we're too unhealthy or whatever it is. And even if we're in our late 20s, so many of my clients are freezing their eggs in their 20s because they're believing even in their late 20s that they're too old to conceive naturally. If you receive an infertility diagnosis of any kind, when a specialist tells you you're infertile, that is devastating news. That is crushing news. How will you ever conceive and have a family if you've been given an infertility diagnosis? If you've experienced the loss of a pregnancy, very understandable. There is a fear it could happen again. It doesn't help the situation at all. And then there's genuine worry about being pregnant. A lot of my clients have subconscious fears around actually being pregnant and giving birth. And those two cause this underlying anxiety and stress in the body. So, this stress that you're experiencing may well be the reason that pregnancy has been eluding you to date. But there's hope, lots of hope. And I want to share with you this study that the British Medical Journal published a while ago, where women who were having difficulty conceiving were taught to replace that negative expectation about their chances of getting pregnant with a positive expectation that they would get pregnant. So they literally gave them some tools to change their expectation from negative to positive. Amazingly, half of them became pregnant quite soon after. And this was in sharp contrast to the control group who were just given standard advice. In that group, only 1 out of 5 conceived. So let this in. The likelihood of becoming pregnant, the likelihood of you conceiving will increase from 20 to 50% simply by replacing a negative expectation with a positive expectation. You see, when you think or say or express, I am infertile, that's a negative expectation. And it's causing the release of, as what I call contraceptive hormones in the body, adrenaline and cortisol. These are contraceptive hormones. But when you flip that to I am super fertile and you change nothing else, you don't have to change your diet, your exercise, nothing else, literally just changing your mind from I am infertile to I am super fertile, you increase your chances of conceiving by 50%. You see, your mind's job is just to believe everything you tell it. Your mind does not question what you tell it. And its job is to act on what you tell it, to act on what you believe. And then the magic thing is what the mind believes, the body believes. And this has been proven with the biology of belief. What we believe affects our bodies. What we think and say affects our bodies. So to stop the contraceptive effects of stress, we have to stop focusing on the problem. We have to stop focusing on the fact that we're not conceiving. We have to stop focusing on the infertility diagnosis and instead focus with positive expectation, in fact, with certainty on what you want, your life with your baby, your life with your family. And you can do that when you take smart, intelligent, proven action to make that happen. Simple actions like spring cleaning your baby's first room and using this secret medicine. You see, your mind is a goal-seeking device, and it can only focus on one thing at a time. So focus on and take action towards your baby goal. Stress is only a contraceptive if you remain stressed, if you remain in fight or flight or freeze. But when you focus on what you want, and every day you confidently take action in the direction of your baby dream, your family dream, stress dissolves and it no longer sabotages your family dream. And you start to release creative hormones, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, these endorphins, and you get to rewrite your fertility story and create a wonderful new result. You being pregnant and bringing your baby into the world. And this is what happened for Kate, who was also 38 when she came to work with me. So she'd met the love of her life, and he was 10 years her junior. They were having a wonderful, intimate relationship and a wonderful sex life, but they'd now been trying to conceive for over a year. And the problem was that she was now anxious, stressed, and worried and considering IVF just because of her age. Why? Because everyone in her life, her mother, his mother, her doctor, their friends, everyone was telling her she was too old to conceive naturally. And unfortunately for her, she listened to those stories and fell into, quite chronic daily anxiety. When we came to work together, we had to do some focusing of her mind. We had to refocus her mind on what she wanted, not on the problem that everybody else was putting in her mind. And she started pretty soon to see herself as healthy, super fertile, and youthful. And in fact, she was one of the most, fertile women that I felt I'd ever clapped eyes on. And through doing the work of spring cleaning her womb, taking action every day, doing work to hydrate her body, because so many of the people I work with are dehydrated. Sperm is 96% water. The egg is over 90% water. An embryo is over 90% water. We need to be dehydrated to create a baby. We need to be hydrated to create a baby. And we also did hypnosis to help her turn back the clock on her biological age. So within 2 months, she was pregnant naturally. And she went on to have a perfect healthy pregnancy, a textbook pregnancy, a beautiful home birth, and bring their baby safely into the world. And here's the magic. Over 2 years later, now at the age of 40, she is pregnant naturally again. Another woman who was not infertile and not too old, but she had let in the voodoo, if you like, around being too old, the hypnosis of being too old. It wasn't the truth. And that stress was holding her back from conceiving easily. But once she let that stress go, once she stopped that stress in her body daily, she changed her story very, very quickly. And the final shift is to invest in coaching. Invest in coaching and support the most important journey of your life. You see, all of the above that I've shared with you is achievable, but it's just not so easy to do it on your own. It's much easier to believe in and to empower your body's natural ability if you have the right knowledgeable guidance and support. And if you have access to unique skills and knowledge that have assisted so many women and so many couples before you. And also having a network of peers, the encouragement of a network of peers, your personal cheerleaders who are on the journey with you, who believe in you and support you to conceive naturally and quickly. That's priceless. And also, if you've already experienced IVF or other therapies, sometimes you can lose hope. But with the right coaching and with a solid, proven preparation plan, new hope, and you can support your baby dream to fruition. And so What does coaching give you? Well, straight away, it gives you new ideas and it gives you accountability. And right now, you know that you have new ideas that you would not have come across if you hadn't made time to watch this webinar. Coaching gives you guidance and support. It keeps you expecting a positive outcome. And it's so important to expect a positive outcome. And it stops you from getting discouraged. With coaching, you stay focused on, and remember, your mind can only focus on one thing at a time. It keeps you focused on and believing in and confidently working towards your baby dream. You see, when you have the right knowledgeable guidance and support, you are just going to get there much faster. And even with all of that, you might be thinking, well, we'll just do IVF. And you could, although many of my clients have done IVF and it wasn't successful for them. But however, you can do IVF, but just know that there's no guarantee it'll work. And for every cycle of IVF, fewer than a third of patients under 35 will be successful. And of course, those percentages decrease as you get older. And current statistics show that only 18% of IVF cycles will result in a live birth. And what about the cost? Right now, depending on where you are in the world, IVF can cost anything from 5,000 to 20,000 per cycle. And on top of that, you are told to expect when you go for IVF that will take 3 cycles. And your mind is very, very suggestible. If your mind lets that in, it will take 3 cycles. And if it takes 3 cycles, you can multiply those figures by 3. So all of a sudden, your IVF journey is going to cost anything from 15 to 60,000 or maybe even more, depending on where you are in the world. So of course, it's a big decision to invest time and money in coaching, but without the proper guidance, you could waste more money and more of your precious time. So my suggestion to you is don't go it alone. Find the best pregnancy coach out there for you and support this most important journey of your life, like Leanne and her partner did. They had a goal of conceiving by her next fertile window. Now, that was only 4 weeks. They had 4 weeks in which they wanted to prepare to conceive, and they'd already been trying for 11 months. But they were very determined to do the work so that her body would be prepared to conceive this time round and that she would carry their baby healthily to full term. You see, with coaching, they were confident that they could make it happen. With coaching and support and guidance and a proven system to follow, and they even had a date to conceive on, actually, they welcomed their beautiful baby boy into the world. They did it. They focused for 4 weeks and they did the work. And they conceived exactly when they said they would. And again, that was after 11 months of trying. But with coaching, they just knew that they could do it and they committed to it and they did the work. They made it happen. So again, with the right coaching and a solid, proven preparation plan, you not only have new hope and support, but you can bring your baby dream to fruition. So today I promised to give you a step-by-step plan to reclaim your fertile health and prepare for pregnancy, even if there's age concerns or indeed an infertility diagnosis. I promise to show you that what might have seemed like an unbelievable pipe dream is achievable and attainable for you. I've showed you countless clients that we've worked with who've used these exact steps to become pregnant, even though there were many obstacles for them. They did exactly what I shared with you, and they brought their beautiful babies into the world naturally. So again, a recap. What you need to reclaim your fertile health is to spring clean your baby's first room and create a perfect environment for your baby to conceive, live, and grow in. Reject the diagnosis and take action in the direction of your dream. Use the secret medicine. Find out very quickly what the block is, what the delay is, and use the secret medicine to overturn that block and get on a new path of creating your baby. Expect the best and expect the best and release that contraceptive of stress. Invest in coaching. Invest in coaching and support the most important journey of your life. You see, these 5 shifts are the formula that will propel you to pregnancy and baby joy, literally within weeks. So now you have a choice. You can take and digest the information that I've shared with you today, or you can dismiss it and forget all about it. You can continue doing what you're currently doing, wishing and hoping for a different result, month after month, or even year after year. You can continue stressing every month and dreading yet another negative pregnancy test. You can stay wishing and hoping for a pregnancy and a baby that's not arriving. Or if you would like to be expecting your baby naturally and quickly with absolute certainty, if you would like to welcome the baby you've always wanted into your world as soon as possible and start your family, then here is what I have for you. My team and I have set aside some time in the next 48 hours to speak with you personally about how we can apply these ideas. Whatever your unique challenge, know that we've addressed this or something very similar with someone else, and we know how to help you overcome that. So we're going to get on the phone with you for about 45 minutes. And in this session, we're going to work with you to craft a step-by-step plan, and we're going to get you clear on 3 things. The ease of reclaiming your fertile health, how you can release the pregnancy blocks or delays, and how you could be expecting your baby within weeks. And the cost of this is absolutely free, but there is a catch, and it's definitely not for everyone. This is for women who've endured the frustrations, the knocks, the setbacks, but they're willing to move past those to reclaim their natural reproductive health. You've got to be committed, motivated, and open to a new and different approach. And most of all, you've got to be willing to do the necessary work to reclaim your fertile health. It's not hard, but it just takes commitment. And we're excited to work with women who, despite their previous challenges, could still believe in themselves and trust their bodies to make their baby desire a reality. So if this is you, book a call now. And of course, you're going to ask, why are we doing this? Well, it's beyond fulfilling, assisting couples to achieve their baby and family dreams naturally. And it's an incredible gift to have the tools and the expertise that actually work, that can serve people so effectively. And we also know that you might want our help to become pregnant. And if so, we can talk about that and see if it's a good fit for us both. Either way, you will only gain from this call, and we will assist you in every way we can. So spaces are limited, so click the green button that's beside or below the webinar and apply for your call right now. When you click this link, it's going to take you to a booking page for the call, and that page will then take you to an application page. And so this is going to be the most fulfilling hour that you've ever spent chatting about your baby and your family desires. And so I really want to thank you so much for listening to this webinar, for your time today. Make the most of it and click the green button. Again, it's either beside or below the webinar. Book the time that suits you. Fill in the registration form, and we look forward to speaking with you very, very soon. Thank you.